What's going on, everyone? This is Fuego Steve bringing you another edition of NBA Live at 5, brought to you by Scout DFS. Joined once again by Jaguar Lou. What's going on, Lou?
Hey, Fuego, how are you?
All right. I'm a little behind in research today. I've been swamped. I apologize for some of my articles up on the site. They have had no real analysis in them, but then again, I hear all the time, I don't really care. I just want to know who to play. So I will try to get some more analysis going next week when my schedule dies down a little. And you're going to have to help me with some players that I'm not sure about tonight, but that's what we're here for. And, my articles and your articles, ideally people listen to this chat, if you can. I know it's a lot of people got to work, and I know you have to have the article. So if you just you can't listen to this chat, you just want to click and see who we like to play. So that's why I list them. Even if I don't have analysis, I will put the players that I like. But if you can't get a chance to listen to the live stream, it's up on the site up until lock. So if you miss it, you can watch it all the way up until lock, and we get more in-depth analysis than most of the articles. So anyway, we have a pretty small slate tonight, right?
I think it's 11 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games.
Oh, no, it's big then. I must be thinking tomorrow night. Yeah, let's see. We got 10 games on the slate. So we'll get right into it here at point guard. It's a Westbrook slate. Are you playing Westbrook? Are you going to pivot down to John Wall at 10-2 or all the way down to Curry at 9-4? You're going to pay up for any 3-point guards tonight?
Yeah, I have some sneaky plays tonight. I am the cash game writer or the cash play writer for Scout DFS, but at heart, I am a GPP guy. Yeah, so I do see a lot of or 2 or 3 point guard, mid-range, low-range plays that I will go down to. So remember, this isn't last season. Russell Westbrook, I don't think will be putting up the numbers that he did last season. Ever, not just consistently. He has Carmelo and Paul George now, so paying up 10-8 for Russell Westbrook, while I'm sure it's a great play tonight, I start my core lineups with value, finding the 5 or 4 best value plays, and then I go from there. It's an easy way to construct your lineups, and you don't want to put in your best guys and then try to scuffle around for value. You want to know your value straight off the bat. With that said, I have 2 point guard plays that I like very much tonight. I don't want to go away from your elite point guard plays. I'm sorry I skip around too much, but I'm actually not paying up at all tonight. I'm going to Reggie Jackson as my highest point guard of the night at 6,900. Yeah, Reggie Jackson is my favorite point guard play. Oh, but sorry, beside John Wall, there's that whole narrative between Lonzo and John. Did you hear about that this week?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the teams got involved. I don't even care about that stuff. I really don't. But adding the narrative that I guess John Wall was called out, right? Was he called out from Lonzo or was he called out from LeVar? I really hate this stuff.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, but apparently someone called out John Wall for being worse than Lonzo Ball. So in my elite plays, I did say in my article, John Wall seems like a lock. I like Bradley Beal. I really like that. I can't not like John Wall right now for an elite play, 46.9 FanDuel points per game. He really controls that offense, adding the narrative with Lonzo Ball. And yeah, his 3 games, 50, 45, and 45. So he's as safe as it gets for a cash game play. But like I was saying before,
I like Ball tonight for sure.
No, I said Wall. I don't like. I don't like Ball. I think Ball with this narrative. Let's get into his head. and like I said, I have 2 point guards I'm paying down for, and I'm pretty confident in them, which are Reggie Jackson and Mike James. And when we get lower down there, I'll tell you why I like those guys. But for now, in the elite point guard range, I like John Wall most at 10-2. But I'm not going up to point guard tonight. I'm paying mid-range and low for point guards.
All right, well, then talk to me about some of them you like. The ones that I'll tell you, I don't mind paying up for Westbrook or Wall tonight. I have no problem doing that, so we differ on that. I like Lowry quite a bit at 7,100. I like Lonzo Ball at 74. I'm probably going to go Kemba Walker at 81. That's probably because I like Jeremy Lamb. No Rubio tonight for me, but Ball and Lowry I like. So tell me some of these mid-range guys that you like.
All right, the mid-range guys, like I said, it starts with Reggie Jackson for me. I got no problem with Kemba and Lamb, as you said. Normally, I like going with 1, not 2, and then you got to put into the whole equation that I think it's Gilchrist's first game back. So that, throws a little bit of a monkey wrench into it. In these mid-range guys, I don't mind Rubio. Conley, maybe I stay away from the Dallas game pace, the Memphis-Dallas thing. I'm sure that's a low-scoring game. I'm not saying I don't like Lonzo. I have to look into this narrative. I heard about it recently. I got to admit, I don't like knowing these things, but I got to know who called out who. It says a lot. I believe in narratives. I just don't like listening to them. But in the right narrative, you can take advantage of a narrative. D'Angelo Russell's looking like he has a knee tonight.
Yeah, he's not in.
He's not in. So
I don't think he is.
Let me check real quick. If that's the case,
he was doubtful last I looked.
Yeah, they got Spencer Dwindlen, which has been playing very well lately.
I like Spencer Dinwiddie tonight at 4,400.
Yeah. Sorry, I said dwindle. Dinwiddie. Whenever
Dinwiddie.
I say
well, that's fine. Yeah, but he's one of the lower end guys I would go to. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's as low as I would go. I do like Darren Collison. I think last night I said on the cast that I like Collison over Oladipo due to matchups. I was correct. I was happy. By the way, if you look at Scout DFS, I did one lineup with all of me and your podcast picks. A lot of my cash game plays, I didn't really stray from anyone that we really were confident in. And I cashed third place. I didn't have time after everything to enter a big lineup, but me and your plays, our most confident plays, I threw in a $10 single entry.
Obviously not with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I did not put Jimmy Butler. I think we were off him in the end. We were mentioning the possibility of a 50 burger, but
I had him in my main lineup. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just put the majority of me and your confident picks when we spoke, just to show everyone, and we ended up hitting 317 points on FanDuel, and I won $100 off a $10 single entry.
Tell me next time if you're doing that.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you. The only thing there was just one fill-in. All of our picks resulted in one minimum priced fill-in. I ended up going to Zipser against LeBron.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that, though. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I want to tell people in general, like, we're giving you our best plays, but every now and then you're getting a lineup and your best plays aren't fitting without a punt play. So I try to put some punt plays in my article. Lou does not because he's cash more. But I will put some punt plays in my article sometimes, and we'll mention some here. That's why sometimes I mention some of these low-end guys to Lou. And we tell you, who, if they're like there's a difference between a value play and a punt play. A punt play is you're not expecting much. You hope he gets 10, 20 for you, and, you move on. A value play is someone who's low, and you're hoping for that 30, 40 burger, like a DJ Augustine the other night filling in, or, I don't think Spencer Dinwiddie is going to do it tonight, but if he's filling in for Russell, maybe he can get to 30 points, and that's more of the what I would call value as opposed to a punt play. But every now and then you're trying to get all your lineups and you really like it except for one player and you just got to punt or you just got to go down to a value guy. And so if you see our lineups and we win thousands of dollars and we didn't mention Joe Schmo, it wasn't because we had a secret. So
that is very true, Puego. You know, we make these picks and you got to realize that it's salary. If I had a cash game article and I'm just writing up 5 cash game plays, all maximum salary, that does you no good. You throw those 5 players that I love in your lineup, and then you're set with a 5-player lineup that you love, and you have to fill in minimum price. Sometimes it's less than minimum price. So, yeah, keep that in mind. We give you our picks, but, yeah.
About chat, because I see, Balcom X in there and other guys and they're asking us about min-price players, and that's where you can ask us specifically about someone, as opposed to here, we're not going to list every single player. But if you say, oh, is Mike James a good play in chat, we'll tell you yay or nay.
Exactly. That's actually why I start my lineups with my value plays, so I'm not scuffling for value plays, but rather than scuffling for elite plays, which is you'd rather be 4 minutes left deciding between 4 guys with maximum salary allotted between opposed to the opposite where you have 4 minutes left, you have all the guys that you love and you're trying to fill in 3 min-price guys. So that is funny. But to get back on topic, this was all about D'Angelo Russell. Dinwiddie's fine, but I actually think this affects I used to say Chris, but I realized it the other day. Caris LeVert. I think this could be a good game for him. I know that he's a shooting guard or small forward on most sites, but that is I think the lack of D'Angelo Russell affects LeVert, and it also affects the rest of the lineup in terms of Hollis Jefferson and Damari Carroll, guys that are gonna have to step up in the starting lineup. Even Alan Crabb going up against J.R. Smith, I can see him hitting a few threes. And those are Alan Crabb would be the kind of punt play we're talking about to make a lineup, a great lineup work. But this,
I put him in my write-up. I think he's a punt play tonight.
Yeah. Listen, he's a talented player on Portland. He takes threes.
Any other? I don't see me punting point guard, but are there any lower end? Jamal Murray, Corey Joseph, Jared Bayless, Mario Chalmers, any of these low guys that Mike James against 4,300. What did he end up doing last night? I went to bed early once Butler was out. He had 27 last night, 26, 27.
I like Mike James tonight. I have first of all, we didn't even mention this. Today's the first day of qualifiers, everyone. Let's clap it up for Springfield. That's where the championship is. Qualifiers start for NBA on FanDuel tonight.
Oh, crap. Seriously?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
It might have already filled. Let me check. I got my lineups in last night.
Oh, there's the $12 qualifier right here.
Yeah.
It's the ticket and the Hall of Fame to Springfield, Mass. I better start entering lineups, so Paul, bear with me. All right, go ahead.
I was surprised you didn't mention that because I saw that up this morning. Where is it? Springfield, Mass, or where is the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Yep.
So, FanDuel, let me just send you a little message. Let's get some more paradise destinations. I went to school in Rhode Island. I'm not looking to go to Massachusetts to do these championships. Nonetheless, I will be there. I will be there because I have to take everyone's money. But come on, Massachusetts. What are we doing there?
I hear you. When is it? Yeah. It'll
be in the. It'll be either way. I went
but
to
we'll just have to deal with it, and we'll have our money warm us when we win.
Listen, fantasy players are like male guys, and sleet, rain, snow, whatever the saying is. We'll be there to take people's money. So I have 10 entries in this tonight. So I'm excited. Last year I punched my ticket 3rd or 4th, which was a great feeling. I punched my ticket right away. So that was a good feeling. And you can take advantage early with some of these mispriced players early on in this season. But that was sorry, I got sidetracked. But Mike James and Devin Booker
I'm
are
glad you told me so I can start getting in. Go ahead.
yeah. No, there's room. I think it's halfway full. You might even see overlay tonight. Mike James and Devin Booker. Also, I'm a little upset that I told you because, I think last year when I qualified, it was me and you at the top. And you were second. Yeah, we both had like a couple lineups pushing for it. And
when I think I qualified.
Oh no, that was that baseball. No. Yeah, that was baseball. I think. I remember. Oh no, yeah, it was with the Seattle pitcher Bregman. Sorry, I'm getting confused. But
That's
yeah,
right.
Me and you were usually at the top over there, so I shouldn't have told you. Maybe I could have had an advantage.
That would have been funny
without you in there.
Yeah, well, if I win the very first qualifier, I'll thank you very much. Let's put it that way. But
yeah,
so listen, let's get back on track here. I see Lou got me really excited for the qualifiers that I hate and I love at the same time. They are such a money drainer. I don't recommend them to people spend a lot of money. You should go by the 80-20 rule and you spend 80% cash and 20% GP, which I go the other way. But if you do, then put maybe 5% in the qualifier. You don't want to put too much. But if you're like me and Lou, you like to burn money. So any other kind of bounced around there? Any other point cards? So I like Westbrook more than you. I like Wall more than you. Kyle Lowry runs the ball for me. You like to pay down a little.
I like Darren Collison.
I don't mind Spencer dude.
I guess my top three rotations would be Reggie Jackson, Mike James paired with Devin Booker, and maybe if my second lineup would be taking out James. Other than that, I'm not going to Dennis Smith. Conley, I'm fine with. I don't even know if Barea is still starting, but I don't love Barea. Kyle Lowry, I'm fine with. Kyle Lowry super low. I didn't even see him that low.
I like Lowry tonight.
Why is Lowry so low? I didn't even see him there. They're looking at. Let me see real quick because I know. Where is he? 1 second. I know that his
7,100.
DeMar DeRozan is going up against Klay Thompson. I actually love Lowry. DeMar DeRozan's been sick this week. I'm sure he's fine now, but going up against Klay Thompson, great two-way player, great defender. I can see Lowry having to take control against an easier matchup against Steph Curry. 7,100. I'm a little curious as to why that's so low. I might have to do a little more research. I didn't even see him there, but he's his game logs.
I love him at 7,100. Yeah, for sure.
Obviously his game logs are horrible. But they include a tough matchup against San Antonio. He got 13.9 points, and DeMar DeRozan left that game early. Philadelphia, he only got 28 minutes. He put up the points, but he didn't put up the fantasy points with 29.5.
You do have to watch the blowout, but they are still projected to score 108 points in this game. So
so if you're in that mid range, I don't hate Lowry. 7,100 is a reasonable salary for a guy that when he's on a streak can very well go up to the high 8s, low 9s. So I don't hate that by any means.
All right, so moving on to shooting guard. At the high end, we have James Harden. With Harden every day. He's not hitting that. He hasn't hit 50 yet. So, I'm not sure. The optimizer's going to keep putting him in. Lineup builders are going to keep putting him in. He's going to go off at some point. But he hasn't hit 50 yet this season, and I'm not sure I'm willing to spend that much on him. And then you drop down to DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, Victor Oladipo, who I like at 7,800. Devin Booker against Utah, I'm going to fade in that tough matchup. And Klay Thompson, 7,100, always in play. Talk to me about some of the higher-end shooting guards, and are you going to fire up any of them? Mute. Hey,
sorry about that. Let me ask you, why do you find that a tough matchup? And in Devin Booker. I don't see that as a tough matchup at
Is
all.
it going to be a slower pace game? They're only projected to score 98 points. Over unders 204.
Yeah. Ricky Rubio is not the best defender, so I told you I like Mike James. Yeah, I guess you have me a little scared about Devin Booker now that you don't like him.
No, to convince me to like him, I go the other way.
No, I mean it's just his usage without Eric Bledsoe.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only guy they got.
But would you rather play him or Bradley Beal?
I'd rather play him. I think that I don't like Oladipo today.
Him or Klay Thompson?
Oladipo is going up against our Andre Robertson.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, when you look at your options, like Devin Booker might not be in the best pace game with the best matchup, but let me look at the over/under and the spread real quick. But I like him. He had
204, and only supposed to get 98. So that's the part that bothers me.
Is it a blowout potential?
A 7-point spread.
7 point doesn't consider me blowout potential, or I don't consider a blowout potential in a 7-point spread. He played Sacramento 28 points, 34 minutes. In terms of a cash game play, I love him. Without Eric Bledsoe, look at the rest of that lineup, man. It's TJ Warren, which I like. But he's all about the peripheral stats or however you want to say it. The rebounds, the blocks, the steals. And then you got Mike James, which I love going up against Ricky Rubio, which is not the best defender. And then you got Devin Booker's against Joe Ingles. Like, I just don't see who's going to guard here. I guess.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, he is a machine, man, especially with Bledsoe's not in there.
Yeah, I just don't see who's going to guard him. Also, if you don't like Devin Booker and you don't like Mike James, go to Rudy Gobert. If you think they're going to miss or you think they're going to go 20% for the field, Rudy Gobert is going to grab those rebounds. And Derek Favors, I guess.
Here's some guys I like that the optimizer likes as well. Andrew Wiggins at 6,900, Jeremy Lamb at 5,600. Our opto's got them both scoring over 30. I can see that for both of them, and they're discounted price over all the guys that we first mentioned here. How about Andrew Wiggins or Jeremy Lamb? Wiggins is playing without Butler. And Jeremy Lamb's been doing well. He's got a decent floor.
Yeah, I wrote up Wiggins, and I love Lamb. Usually, I love Lamb more when he's in when. I love Lamb less when Kemba Walker also has a good matchup, which he does tonight. So that makes me like Lamb a little bit less. Also, with Gilchrist coming back, I don't think I'll be having as much exposure to Lamb as you will. But nonetheless, it's a good matchup in, its essence. But, I wrote about Wiggins. I love Wiggins tonight. All of my lineups are starting if you read my cash game plays with Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. Think back to the day when there was a Zach LaVine on that team and he was injured. I don't know if you guys can think back that far to last season, but for those who remember or those who take this stuff seriously, when Zach LaVine was out, I know Ricky Rubio is another part of that equation, but when Zach LaVine was out, it was a two-man game with Wiggins up top and Karl Anthony Towns killing the paint. So, with Wiggins at 6,900, I definitely don't think that price is taking into account his usage uptick with Jimmy Butler sidelined. So a lot of my lineups are starting with Karl Anthony Towns. I actually love the game stack there. I mentioned it in my article a lot. And that game stack is Wiggins and Towns paired against Reggie Jackson, and then my power forward play of the day, which I'll mention in further depth when we get there, but Tobias Harris. That to me is a great game stack that I love, and most of the players are reasonably priced, not taking into account the injuries that both teams are enduring. Detroit doesn't really have injuries, but I mean. Detroit has, secondary guys out, Reggie Bullock, but I don't think that Shabazz Muhammad is in play. But I love that game in total. The whole game stack is great. Reggie Jackson,
Right.
Wiggins, Tobias Harris, Karl Anthony Towns. Lock him in.
So you mentioned Karis LeVert. I like him at 5,800. I probably don't mind Eric Gordon at 67. I wrote up Will Barton at 5,800. He's a good price. He's always a good price. And Jeremy Lamb, 56. Dropping down, Avery Bradley, he's in play at 53. There's a lot of shooting guards I like today. A lot of them, obviously, that I'm mentioning here. I think you could go lots of different places, maybe set your lineups and then see how much you have left for shooting guard, unless you love someone in this. If you love Wiggins, plug in Wiggins and leave the other one blank, and then see what happens as you go, and then come back and see the price you want to pay, because you could drop down to guys at 56. You could go up to some of these other guys. If you love Harden, you could always lock them in. So there's lots of places you could go at shooting guard. JJ Redick, 4,300. He's always hot or cold. J.R. Smith, 3,900. These are all punt plays that I would give you the okay with. Tyreek Evans. But for my main lineup, I'm probably not going lower than Jeremy Lamb at 5,600. We haven't seen his ceiling game yet, but he's put up 25, 25, and 24 FanDuel points. So that's a pretty good floor. If he could push it up to 30, that would be ideal. But I like the pivot off of him to Will Barton at 5,800, or even Gary Harris on Denver, who I always like. But so who are your two favorite? Give me two favorite.
All right, my two favorite. And let me I'm gonna add a little thing on the end. So I'm going low tonight around the board because I've been really doing well picking these mid-range good matchup plays and taking advantage of injuries, which has been paying off for me huge to start the season. So I'm going Karis LeVert and Wiggins. With that said, there is a play that we kind of grazed over that I think will go low owned, which is DeMar DeRozan. In a high-scoring game, if that game stays close, and the fact that Lowry's price so low, I'm guessing DeRozan. I don't think he was sick. I think he was just the flu or something. Nothing crazy, but he puts up big numbers. He put up 41 against San Antonio in 36 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Philly, I think, was the game that he left early, and he still put up 37. Locking in DeMar DeRozan, if his ownership is low, could be a huge play. His matchup against Klay Thompson isn't great, but he is one of those guys that takes over a game. And I don't hear anybody talking about him in the Twitter sphere, in any industry stuff. I don't hear them saying DeMar DeRozan. And at an $8,300 price with his game logs, that's a reasonable price to fit in. If you're thinking about James Harden, and then the next step down is $8,300. That's a what, $3,300 savings? $3,300 savings. That's a lot of money, and I don't think it's much of a dip down, considering James Harden is in a blowout scenario tonight. So DeMar DeRozan definitely just struck my eye. I'm gonna look at his ownership. Or projected ownership. But my favorite
should be low.
My favorite plays are Karis LeVert and Wiggins. But if I, at the end of my lineups, can figure out a way to take out LeVert and put in DeMar DeRozan, I think that's a crazy play. That's a pretty cool play. 300 more than Bradley Beal, which is also in a great matchup. I have no problem rotating DeRozan and Bradley Beal in lineups for a little bit of safety. Beal being the safety, DeRozan being the GPP play. But it wouldn't be a hard swing. You just invest in another lineup, and you simply just take them out and switch it up. And you got to be okay with that $300 extra sitting there. And like I always say, you better, for GPP players, please don't take salary into account. If you're the kind of guy that needs to use up all that salary, whether it's or girl, by the way, guy or girl, because we got fantasy girl players too. Because at the basketball championships, I think we saw a third place finisher. But
She's
yeah.
just a proxy, but yeah.
Either way, you know.
Ms. Baseball's very good, and I wouldn't mess with her.
Yeah, listen, believe me, girls are smarter than us, just so you know. I don't know if you know that. So once they realize that there's a lot of money in fantasy, we got to be afraid of some of these girls coming into the industry. But yeah, what was I saying? Sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah, so DeMar
you were
DeRozan,
just
I like
rambling about your shooting guard spots there. I think they're, that's a great play there, DeRozan. I don't think you're going to get high ownership on him going against Golden State Warriors. You do have to worry about the blowout again. Golden State's favored by 12, but the implied point total is a 108 for Toronto. So they're still supposed to score a lot of points, and DeRozan's the guy that can get you there for sure. Moving over to small forward, we got LeBron and Durant, the high end over 10,000, 10-1 for Durant, 10.7 for LeBron. LeBron's let me down 2 games. Yesterday he did well. He didn't get the triple dub, but he got 62 FanDuel points, so that's not a letdown. So that's a good game. I'm not sure I'm going to go to him on a back-to-back. I would probably lean towards Durant, but I'm probably not going to pay up for either of these guys. I'm going to pay down for small forward today. I like Tobias Harris at 6'5". Covington. If Embiid's going to play full, I like Covington a little less, but I don't mind Covington. He scored 34 with Embiid last time out. You got dropping down to Wilson Chandler at 5'4". I like. I don't mind Brandon Ingram at 5'1". And we mentioned Allen Crabbe all the way at 4'8" for Brooklyn. He should get a little more usage with D'Angelo Russell out. But Paul George against Indiana at 8.7. If you want to pivot off of LeBron or Durant, he's probably in play as well. So those are some of my favorite ones. You paying up for any, or are you paying down? Or are you in the middle today?
First, I'm locking in Tobias Harris. I
wrote in my article. This is what I put: good game, bad game, good game. Is it a good game? But go ahead.
Yeah, but for more. I just like his matchup. Really quick, let me run over to Fantasy Labs. Tobias Harris is on Detroit. They have him matched up against Taj Gibson. That's why I couldn't remember, because he's such an insignificant player. He's never in my mind because I'm never thinking about rostering him. Taj Gibson is just so bad defensively. I think we targeted him a couple nights ago. I don't see a situation where the team doesn't realize that they should feed Tobias Harris, and with Drummond having his hands full with Karl Anthony Towns, I love Tobias Harris as the most prominent big man in terms of forward and or center on the team. That's why I say I like the game stack, because Reggie Jackson going up against Jeff Teague, and then you have Wiggins going up against Stanley Johnson, Tobias Harris going up against Taj Gibson, and then Karl Anthony Towns going up against Drummond. None of those plays that I mentioned on that game stack, which is Reggie Jackson, Tobias Harris, Wiggins, and Karl Anthony Towns. Honestly, I'm thinking about starting all 10 of my lineups with that and going off that, because that core is so nice to me, because none of them are contradictory. You have players that are going up against other guys, and in the best case scenario, with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, you have all 4 of these guys kept in the game going up against each other with the people guarding them out. So sorry, that's my little shtick on Tobias Harris, because not only do I love Tobias Harris, I love the game stack. It's so simple. It's not simple as in easy, but it's such a logical game stack. Other than that, I like
Would you pay up for James tonight?
No. I would go to the Paul George narrative. For the Cavs, I like Love a little more. I don't want to pay up for James unless I have excess salary. Besides Harris, Paul George going back to Indiana first time, right? Narrative.
All right, I can handle that.
No, I mean it's more than just that. It's that makes me confident.
Yeah.
I wrote up Carmelo.
They'll try to feed him the ball for sure.
Oh yeah,
show them what they're missing, and that's a great point. And he's less than the big two there, so that's
when Carmelo came
I
back
might have
to
to
New
put him in a
York.
lineup now.
When Carmelo came back to New York, I said, "Listen, the matchup's good. It's not great, but the narrative is a big deal. These are real players. These aren't guys. These aren't robots in numbers. These are actual guys. He wants to show his old team that he was on for a while that they did the wrong thing and that they should have paid or whatever. I don't even know if was he traded or they didn't pay him his money. I forget. But either way, you always want
it's true.
Yeah,
and basketball is one of the best ways for narratives to pay off because narratives in football, narratives in baseball, there's usually other things involved. You either need to have a pitcher pitching to a batter or you need a quarterback to throw you the ball. In basketball, they give you the ball in their hands and say, here you go, do what you want. So it's definitely one of the sports that narratives can take shape for sure.
Wait, before you interrupt me because I'm talking too much, and I know I am, I looked at the stats real quick. I just wanted to tell you, Paul George will be locked into most of my lineups for my elite small forward play. I looked really quick. He will be going up against Bogan Bogdanovic. That is not a matchup I'm worried about. He's got a 2.7 RPM, which is massive, 2.29 plus minus, and 1.2 foul fantasy points per minute. On Fantasy Labs, Paul George is showing not only massive matchup favorability, but along with the narrative and his cheap price of $8,000 right on FanDuel, or $8,700. I'm locking him in with Tobias Harris. I'm going to say for 95% of my lineups, I didn't notice this. Me and you were running around like crazy men today doing our other work and stuff. So we had to rush our things. But Paul George, I love him. 8,700, no reason to go up to LeBron James at 10.7 for $2,000 cheaper. Same upside, same floor, or maybe a slightly lower floor. But I love him tonight against his old team.
I like it. And we like Tobias Harris too. Probably, Josh Richardson did well the other day, but I'm probably not going to go to him. I'd probably drop down to Covington at 6-1. And Damari Carroll in Brooklyn, I'm not sure. Now, tell me, Alan Crabb, you mentioned him when he played on Portland last year. He's on Brooklyn now. His usage I see going up, his minutes going up with Russell not in, even though he's listed small forward. I could see going there if you're punting. Shabazz Muhammad on Minnesota's min price at 3,000. Jeff Green's getting a little bit of run on Cleveland at 3,000. Anybody you're punting I did want to say one guy I do like is Wilson Chandler at 54. You have to be careful with the usage with him, but I do like his price at 54 to get some of the other stats there. Any of these lower guys that you would pay for tonight?
You mentioned Robert Covington. He's guarding James Harden tonight. This game worries me a little bit because of the blowout, but we all know, as me and you will say 100 times throughout our life and throughout our future business endeavors, going up against James Harden is tough defensively, but beneficial for fantasy purposes. Robert Covington could be, if this is a close game, could be on the floor every minute that James Harden is. If this game stays close, I don't think it will. So, when you say go low, that's as low as in GPP form that I'm confident in. Robert Covington has a 3.7 plus minus, which is very impressive. You always worry about the foul trouble, especially with a guy like Covington that's a little bit on the bigger side in terms of heavier, slower guarding a guy like Harden. We can get him into foul trouble, but you could also take into account the fact that Covington takes threes. Harden is constantly out of position. So I could see Covington taking some threes today and hitting value. But like I said, I love this Paul George. I love the Tobias Harris. And if you want me to go lower than that, you want to go Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Did he used to play for
I don't
Denver?
like Gilchrist tonight coming back at 5,600 personally.
I don't like him. Let me see if he has a minutes restriction. But I think he used to play for
I see him at only 15 minutes projected.
Yeah, no. He's on a minute restriction. So no Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. The only reason I thought about that is because I thought he was on Denver at one point. I could have been wrong. Yeah, Wilson Chandler I'm fine with. I figured they would give Rudy Gay more run with Kawhi Leonard out, and I still think
the optimizers have been projected him pretty high, and he hasn't been living up to what they have been projecting him.
He's not being used correctly. It could be something as minute as Greg Popovich not liking his attitude. But
and Kyle Anderson's been getting a lot of minutes too, even though they kind of shift around positions there.
Yeah,
Kyle Anderson's 28, 31, 29 minutes.
And you go a little bit lower, and you got a safer play in T.J. Warren, which I already told you that I don't mind. T.J. Warren.
Rudy Gay's had a pretty good floor. She's not getting any ceilings. 21, 22, 26. That's a decent floor, but where's the ceiling? It's because Aldridge is doing it all.
Wait, small forwards against the Lakers. Who's playing the Lakers again tonight?
Washington.
The Lakers have been a little iffy against the small
Kelly
forward.
Oubre. Nah, I'd rather play Porter. Oubre just, although he had 28 points in 37 minutes, it's his, and he had 38 2 games ago. I'd rather go Porter, who's listed now at power forward.
Let me take a look. They actually have Porter. They have Porter being guarded by Larry Nance. That's a matchup I don't see working.
Well, let's move over to power forward while you're looking at that. LaMarcus Aldridge, 8,900. Ben Simmons, my guy, 8,800. I've been recommending him every day. He's been lighting it up. His price is starting to catch up to him now. He's the second highest power forward tonight. You gonna go back to Simmons or Aldridge tonight?
Yeah, I love Simmons.
Man,
I like all. It's tough, man. I listen to both of these guys. I love both of them. I really do. Simmons is such a beast, and if Philadelphia can keep this game close, he could be the absolute nuts of the night. The safer play is obviously LaMarcus Aldridge. If I can fit him in, I will. He's going up against James Johnson tonight. Miami lets up big points against centers, like really big points. I'm going to look up the matchups. If they have Miami's fill-in center going up against LaMarcus, then I'll lock in LaMarcus because Miami has had massive problems allowing points to centers. Miami has allowed... let me see. I could have been wrong here. I'm sorry. Is it power forwards? I love looking at these DVPs are unbelievably beneficial to look at. But yeah, Miami's up there allowing 52.2 points a game, ranked 8th worst in the league to opposing power forwards. So LaMarcus Aldridge is definitely my safest play on that upside.
I don't know. I think Simmons is just equal, but that's okay.
I love Simmons. The only thing that worries me is the blowout potential. But you know what? Maybe Simmons at this point doesn't even need 30-plus minutes. Maybe at 26 minutes, he's capable. Look, 33 minutes. It's like, you know what the funny thing is? Even in the blowouts, I think they might give him a little bit of run. But he is so good as of now. 45.5 in his first game, 30.7 in his second, 39 and 49 in his last two. He really is an unbelievable player. And I am I'm waiting for the fade game because this could be it. There is a fade game coming. The gambler's fallacy. Nothing that happened yesterday should affect anything you do today. So his fade game is coming. He's not going to have 35 points all season, but in my mind, LaMarcus Aldridge is safer, but Ben Simmons carries a higher GPP upside for sure.
I gotcha. Yeah, just because the usage for Aldridge. Then you got Draymond Green at 78. I love tonight. I think he's going to be a beast. I wish if they would let him score a little more, he would just be unstoppable. But I do like his price of 7,800. I think it's down. It was up to 8,400 2 days ago, so it's down some. I like Draymond Green tonight. Carmelo Anthony at 7.6. He's down a little too. He's playing Indianapolis Pacers. A lot of these prices dropping a little, except for Otto Porter. He's 7,500, and his price has been going up, but it's deserved. His last 3 games, 31, 57, and 47. Porter's just been a beast. You're going to go back to Porter tonight?
Yeah. I'm looking at his matchup right now. I began to mention it before. Porter is a beast. Against Larry Nance Jr. I guess the scenario changes if what's his name plays Julius Randle, but I don't see that happening as of now. Is he confirmed out or?
Well, he's been banged up, so
yeah, he's banged up, and it's funny. Even if he plays, I think he's a bigger body that Otto Porter's the kind of guy. You picked him the other night. He put up that 30 burger within the first quarter, and yeah. I stay away from him. I like the guards tonight for Washington, not because of any other reason than Wall got called out. Beal has an amazing matchup, very favorable against. What's funny? They actually have these matchups come out. I'm fading Wall. They have Carltavius Caldwell-Pope starting right now, guarding Wall. So right now, that's a very huge thing. That has LeVar Ball or Lamar. I can't get this right. I'm dyslexic. LeVar is the player, or no, Lamar is the player. This is killing me. Let me check this
Lonzo
out.
Ball?
Lonzo. Oh, my God. Lonzo is guarding.
Just call him Ball. We got you.
Yeah, seriously. Lonzo is guarding Beal. That is a mismatch to epic proportions. Beal's at a 3.4 plus minus, 3.3 RPM, 1 fantasy point per minute.
So you like Beal, but we're talking about power forwards.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Tell me about some power forwards you like that you would play besides Porter. You like? Would you go back to James Johnson, even though it's against the Spurs? Thaddeus Young against Oklahoma City. I like Trevor Booker again for Brooklyn. Any of these guys you liking? I like Frank Kaminsky down at 251.
Thaddeus Young, I like matched up against Melo, I'm assuming. I like that matchup. He's a much more physical player. I have no problem. I don't like James Johnson. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson should see uptick in usage and shot attempts because Russell's out. But with Russell out, you might not even physically be able to stay in that game. So Booker could be the option coming off the bench, assuming Cleveland just demolishes them in the first quarter. They have to take everyone out, and then they give Booker heavy minutes. That could definitely happen. Booker heavy minutes against Cleveland's second unit, which is much easier than Rondae Hollis-Jefferson going up against Jay Crowder and the first unit.
Russell's officially out, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, that Russell news, I'm staying away from that. I think points will be had, but I think it's a blowout, and I don't love that game.
What about Luke? See if I can pronounce his name right. Luke Mwate. Is that how you pronounce it? Mwate. I forgot. Yeah. I always do. For Houston, he's starting for Ariza tonight.
Yeah, he's starting primarily, I think, to guard Wiggins. But yes, as a punt play, I will play him. I will not play him. You are welcome to gain exposure to him if you'd like. But when you said the distinction between a punt play and a value play, that's the definition. If you
you can win with punt plays if you can get those other guys in your lineup. Let's see. He's gone. He said 10 points, 17 points, 7 points, and 16 points, 28 minutes, 26, 24, 23.
Look, if he starts and
he's certainly not a point per minute guy, but if you told me I'd get 17 at 3,200, I'd take it.
I think at 3,200, let me just make sure he's matching up against Wiggins. But yes, like I said, when these guys are matched up against these great, no, he's not matched up against Wiggins. What am I even talking about? Luke Bahamute is wait, who is he?
He would be
Give me a second. Let me just see this really quick because I wrote about
No,
him.
he's Philadelphia. He's playing Philadelphia, so it would be.
Yeah. Sorry, because he was in my write up. Yeah, I don't go that low. No, I don't think it's worth it. Especially
go back to Marquise Chris at 43.
Yeah, you know, I think it's plausible with no Eric Bledsoe. Continue to monitor how Phoenix acts and plays and, works as a team without Bledsoe. But this Phoenix game, the majority of my exposure is going to be Mike James and Devin Booker. Although you have me off Devin Booker now, I like Karis LeVert a lot. I think if I might just have exposure to a couple of these shooting guards, and now Beal, considering John Wall is going to be guarded by a very capable defender in Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Beal's going to want to show up ball for sure.
So it sounds like we're going to pay up if we can at power forward. Aldridge, Simmons, Anthony Porter, Draymond Green. If you could pay up to do it. If we go into the middle range, maybe the Brooklyn guys, Hollis Jefferson or Booker. Serge Ibaka versus Golden State. It's in play. I mentioned Frank Kaminsky. I like Frank the Tank at 5,100 going up against Denver. He's put up 25 and 33 his last two out. I like that 33 better, but if he gets me 33, I'd be super happy. And Domantas Sabonis at 4,800, he was in some winning lineups last night. He's stepped it up the past two games with Miles Turner out. He's got 32 and 39 FanDuel points, so I could see going back to Sabonis again. And sounds like I don't mind Chris as much as you do. But moving on over to center, we have the high-end guy, Karl Anthony Towns, at 10.1, going up against Andre Drummond for Detroit. I think both are in play if you want him. I hope they get a little back and forth going.
Foul
Drummond
trouble,
at 80.
But yeah, it scares me.
I don't mind GPP. Go for it. I don't mind either of them. You got Marc Gasol, the Joker. I'm going back to the Joker. He's going to have a blow-up game sooner rather than later, and this is against Charlotte. And I don't think I don't see Dwight Howard stopping Nikola Jokic. So I could go to him for sure. And Joel Embiid with his minutes, man, he's just been on fire. I like the optimizer's been giving me Embiid with Simmons in my lineup, and I'm like, do I really want to play it? And I do, and he's got 37, 30, 39 points. If you're fine with accepting that he may only get that and not 50, it's a fine play. And if they would actually give him like 5 more minutes, that could bust up to the 40s. Are you going to pay up tonight, or are you paying down or mid-range for center tonight?
Yeah, I'm trying to pay up. I know Karl Anthony Towns will have a great game. One name that catches my eye on the lower end of things, and this is like punt central. This is like, actually, somebody once told me that this player was one of the worst players in the league. Hey, so hang with me here. DVPs, take a look at them, or I'll tell you because it's going to take me too long to get to them. The Golden State Warriors have allowed 78.6 points, fantasy points, to all opposing centers over the course of the season. Over their last 5, they have allowed 78.6 fantasy points to opposing centers. Over their last 10, they have allowed 66.4 points to opposing centers. All of these numbers are far and beyond higher than the second best, which is the Memphis Grizzlies. And when I say higher, the Memphis Grizzlies have allowed 62.9 points on the season to opposing centers. Golden State, 78.6. That's a 15.7 whatever point difference on an average. That is crazy.
So what are you saying?
What am I saying? There is a guy starting for
Dallas?
No, Toronto. Because Golden State's going up against Toronto.
Oh, all right.
His name, this is my secret play of the day. Jakob Patol.
Yeah, people played yesterday. He put up 34, and the day before he put up 30.
He put up 30 the day before in 16 minutes against Philadelphia. He put up 25 against put up 34 in 25 minutes against San Antonio. I'm sure that was garbage time. But this guy has a favorable matchup tonight. And he's 4,900, and the DVPs don't lie, man. I don't know what's going on with Zaza Pachulia. Maybe he's hurt. And this player, I've seen him live. I sat 3 seats back, the best seats I ever had, watching Toronto against the New York Knicks last year. I tweeted out a picture. I saw this guy play live. He is not a good player. I mean, yeah, like he's in the NBA, but he's got no skills that would make him, anything special. But at his price, with his last 2 games in a favorable matchup, not just favorable, like unbelievably favorable. If this game stays close, Jakob Poeltl, and I'll pronounce that better the next time around, could be the play of the day that allows you to get these major players in your lineup.
That's an interesting call there. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of in between a value and a punt play right there.
Yeah.
What about you could also even go Tristan Thompson at 3,600. Optimizer likes him.
Clint Capella. I like Clint Capella.
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. I prefer not to go below Capella if I can help it at 7,200. If I can pay up, I'm going to try. So anyone above 7,200 is in play for me pretty much, and that's what I'm going to try to do. If I have to go below, Poeltl is in play. If you want to go all the way down, like I said, Tristan Thompson at 3.6. Probably going to stay away from Chandler and Len tonight, going up against Gobert and Utah. You could maybe go Gortat versus LA. I mean, he's 6,100.
I don't mind Gortat at all. That Washington game has value all over the place. Mixing and matching combinations from Washington could be very beneficial.
Yeah, I don't mind that. So any favorite centers you have tonight before we get out of here?
Yeah, matching up Karl-Anthony Towns and Wiggins was my initial hope. The way these salaries are working out and who I like, it's not looking as easy to get that done. My GPP plays Jakob, and my confident center play is Karl-Anthony Towns. Anyone in between.
I think I like Drummond on the other side.
I don't.
Karl-Anthony wager on that.
Drummond had his big game last night. I wrote him up, or whatever it was, 2 nights ago. Let me see when it was. I wrote him up. Yeah, it was his last game against Philly. I wrote him up. He won me a little bit of money. Karl-Anthony Towns is a little bit quicker than Drummond. I see Drummond getting into foul trouble, which is another reason why I like Tobias Harris more. If Joel Embiid, I think the safest lowest play is Clint Capella. The GPP lowest play is Jakob Poeltl. And if you go anywhere else beside there, it's either Kevin Love to me or Rudy Gobert is a possibility GPP. With the minutes limit, I just can't go to Joel Embiid. Even though he's killing it, I just wish they would give him 30-plus minutes and then let him play, but they won't. And then after that, Karl-Anthony Towns is my lock of the day, but it's not easy to get.
I like the Joker for sure. Look for the Joker to break out tonight. And I wouldn't fault you for, like I said, anyone above that 7,200 range, I wouldn't fault you. And if you can get them in, that's what I prefer. I prefer, center is so key on FanDuel, for example, give them a little more leeway on DraftKings because you got guys that are dual that are power forwards and power forwards that are centers, and then you have the forward spots and the utility spots. You can mix and match. You can put 2-3 centers in, which I certainly don't mind on DraftKings, but on FanDuel it's so key to really try to get that center right. Gonna do it for today, guys. I'm gonna jump in the chat a few minutes late, but I'll be in there. Maybe Luke can jump in if he can, Ask us questions. If not, I'll get to them. If not, and good luck tonight. Any final thoughts, Lou?
No, I'm excited to qualify for this championship so I can drive 3 hours north and pocket that $1,200 that
Well, there you go. You'll save that money they give you for airfare.
They give you airfare, or maybe I'll be an asshole and I'll take a first class flight over to Massachusetts or charter a helicopter or something.
There you go. All right, guys. For Jaguar Lou, I'm Fuego Steve. Good luck tonight.
Good luck, guys. Have a good one.